welcome to our St. Summer Camp's online sessions. We are baking banana bread today. Actually, Katie is baking banana bread, and myself, my name is Maddie, and I will be in the background answering all your questions and comments on Zoom.
Yeah.
So welcome if you've been with us before. We're so happy to see you here again or see your names again. But if you're brand new, then welcome. We're very happy to have you as well. So we are recording this session just so everybody knows, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. The link will be sent out at the end of the session in an exit survey, and that should be uploaded in the next day or so. And we're not using Menti today, for anyone wondering. We're just doing the baking right away. So I'll let Katie continue, but I will be in the background. So if you have any questions or comments at all, need us to slow down, need us to clarify something, please put it in the Q&A box or in the chat box, and I will either get Katie to show something again, or I'll answer you privately. So I'll be over here, but all right, go ahead, Katie.
All right, so if you're new to all of this and you haven't been to a session before, I welcome you and welcome those that have been here before. I just want to let you know that you can talk in the chat box at the bottom and the Q&A. So Maddie will be talking to you through that. And yeah, so that's kind of how it is. I saw a couple people raise their hands. Unfortunately, we're not able to let you speak, or we can't see or hear you, unfortunately, which we wish we could, because it's been great the past few times, and it'd be good to see what you look like. But otherwise, yeah, so if you have any questions, unfortunately, the raise a hand doesn't work. You'll have to use the comments and question and Q&A part. So feel free to do that. All right, so we'll get started. I put my hair up today. If you have really long hair, just put your hair up to start. And I'm gonna wash my hands as well, because we need to make sure that we are all good, and then I'll show you what ingredients we have. So I'll be over here washing my hands. Wash your hands too. You get that 20 seconds in. Get right in all your fingers. Great, so 20 seconds of washing hands, put your hair up so we don't have hair inside the banana bread, and I will show you what we are gonna make, because I actually made one earlier at the 11 o'clock session, and this is the delicious banana bread that we're gonna make. Depending on if you add chocolate chips, I did add a lot of chocolate chips, so that's what it will look like.
It smells so good.
So excited, we've been baking banana bread all day, so it smells delicious in here. All right, so let's get started. So we're gonna start off with the bananas, but I'll show you all the ingredients first. So we need bananas because it's banana bread. And then we also need the butter. So some butter, we need flour, we need salt. I'm just gonna show you everything, but salt, baking soda, still not baking powder, but I'm sure you can figure out if you have baking powder, that might work. I don't know exactly, but let me know if you do have that. And we have brown sugar today, so you can use white sugar too, but I just have brown sugar for myself because we use this for our cocoa energy bars, which was another session that we had. So we just had brown sugar, so we figured we'd use it, but white sugar works. And then I have some extra ingredients as well. Oh, and eggs is another one that you need for sure. And then I have all these random chocolate chips because I got really carried away at the chocolate chip store. I wish I got it. It wasn't actually just a chocolate chip store. It was just like co-op, but I got all of these chocolate chips. But yeah, so that is all that you need. And just to not confuse you a little bit, this is what happened. I had bananas ripening for about 3 weeks, and they got a little too brown, so I had to put them in the freezer. And then this morning I just blended it, so we have liquid banana, but you don't have to have that, just so you know. So yeah, it sounds really gross, but it's still good, and it's like the perfect ripeness that it needs to be. All right, so we'll start our little I'm just gonna grab a plate. So experiment, it's a recipe. So we're gonna start off with the bananas. So I'll show my plate here. And we're using bananas on a plate because it's easier to mash. I'm gonna grab a fork, and I'll show you how to mash a banana. So for you guys, if you haven't got a liquid banana type, then what you would need to do is just use 2 to 3 bananas, which is about 1.5 cups of bananas. So I'm going to measure mine out, but I'm just going to show you with 1 banana because I'm going to use the rest of my weird liquid banana. So just peel it off, and you can see mine's really, really ripe. Honestly, that's the best way to have your bananas, because bananas make more sugar when they're riper. So it will be a lot more sweeter. So it is better to have, and I think we did put that on the ingredients to have ripe bananas. But if you don't, I saw some cool ways to actually ripen bananas. But yeah, what you're gonna do is just mash it like this. But yeah, there's some cool ways to ripen them. Apparently, bananas have this thing called ethylene gas in them, or that they release. So that will help it ripen. So another thing that does that is apples. So apples, if you put like a ripening apple or like a really ripe apple with bananas, then it'll help ripen the banana, which is kind of cool. But I also saw some things on YouTube, which I didn't try, but some lady had tried. She put bananas in the oven, and that also ripened it really well. And it's good to like oxygenate them, which is what we're doing. We're adding oxygen to our bananas, and that's why we're doing them first, because we want them to be kind of more brown, and the browner the better. So I'm just going to leave it aside while we're getting the other ingredients together. And we're also going to get our preheated oven ready as well. So we did this first just so we can have oxygen come in and just start to ripen the bananas a little more. But yeah, so the next step is we're going to go to our oven, and we need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So we'll go over there, and your oven might be different, so I'm not going to show you what I did because I might confuse you. But if you need help, just ask your adults if they're home. But yeah, you just turn on the oven to 350 degrees Celsius. Okay.
Actually, it's Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Ovens are in Fahrenheit over here.
Sorry, I'm from England, so apparently Celsius is my thing. Yeah. All right.
We have some people saying they're done, ready to go.
Okay. So now that we've ripened our bananas, we need to also melt our butter. I lost my little. Oh, there it is. We need a little bowl to melt it in the oven. Microwave. So we're gonna grab. Just gonna pull up how much we need for our butter. So we need 1/3 of a cup of butter. So we'll grab our 1/3 cup. Sorry, I washed everything, so I'm trying to find where everything is. Here we go. It's over here. There's my 1/3 of a cup here. So we're just gonna put the butter into that cup. And then mine's at room temperature, so it is quite soft, but if it just came out the fridge for you, that's fine. You might just need to put it in the microwave for a little longer. So we're just gonna put the butter inside. Mine's super warm.
Katie, could you just repeat the steps that you've done so far? Somebody missed.
Yeah, no worries. So all I did so far is first I need to mash the bananas, and the next step is to put the oven and preheat it to 350 degrees. And then and then we're starting to put the butter in a little bowl so we can microwave it. So that's all we've done so far.
And it's 1/3 of a cup of butter.
Yeah, and 1/3 of a cup. So just put it into your little bowl that is microwavable. And mine shouldn't take too long to melt because it's already been sitting out for a while. But if yours needs more extra time, that's fine. But it's better to do it in little small amounts. So I'm gonna put it in for about 15 seconds. So I go over to the microwave and do that. And then I'm gonna mix it after 15 seconds and see how that goes, and you can do the same. So about 10 to 15. 5 more seconds. All right, see how that is there. So you see it's a few chunks still there, but what I'm gonna do is kind of mix it together, because the cool thing about butter is the liquid is quite hot, so it would start to melt the rest of the chunks that you see. And see, there's a few little bits still there. Starting to, I think that's a good consistency. So if yours looks like this, that's good. If not, if you want to put it in for another 10 seconds, just so it's all melted, you can do that. Looks like I have a little piece of banana stuck in there. Just gonna grab it out there. There we go. All right, so now that we are done the mashing of the bananas and the butter, we're gonna combine them together. So grab a bowl, a big one. Mine's quite big, so not like if you don't have it this big, that's totally fine. So we're gonna start. For me, I have the liquid banana, so I'm gonna see how much one banana is, and then we're gonna do a cup and a half of banana. So
we got a question to a comment to slow down. So I'm just gonna put up a poll, and there's a poll on the screen here, or you can put it in the chat. Do you need more time?
Yeah. And while I'm waiting, I'm just gonna measure out how many bananas. You don't need to do that. If you have 2 to 3 bananas that are mashed, then you can just use that. But like I said, I have that weird liquid banana that I want to use up. So I also just want to find out how much I need to use to do that. Okay, looks like it's almost a cup there. So I'm just gonna. So I'm gonna top it off with my weird liquid banana. But if you're just joining us, this is not something you need. I just did something weird with my bananas because I froze them, and yeah, they started to go too ripe, so I needed to do something with it. So I just ended up not microwaving, just blending it up.
So we got a comment from Yusuf asking, that was our oven preheated.
That's my oven, yep.
So where do you put the banana? So we are just putting everything into one big mixing bowl.
Yeah, so I'm all putting everything in here. So I have a cup so far, but you don't have to measure it. Like I said, if it's 2 to 3 bananas that are mashed up, just pop them in the bowl directly. And then also with the butter, if you're ahead of me, but we'll all do this together if you're not ahead. So that's a cup. And then I also need a half a cup as well for myself, because we're liquid banana. This looks so gross, but it's so good. It's like the perfect amount, or perfect ripeness for bananas. And I used it all up, so it's perfect. Okay. Oh, and that's my timer for my old banana bread. Just 1 moment. There, let's put that aside here. Okay.
So we'll just wait a moment. We have quite a few people asking us to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's waiting, Katie, do you have any interesting banana facts?
Yeah. So before this, I went and researched some things about bananas. So what I found out is that the banana has a lot of potassium in it, which means that it's really good for if your muscles are getting twitchy, if you've been exercising and they get kind of twitchy. Potassium is really good for that, and also just for your fluid to keep you hydrated. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. What other things did I learn? I learned that bananas actually kind of grow in a bush form, but if they get left a while and they don't replant it to somewhere else, they kind of look tree-like. So that's why people think bananas grow on trees, but they actually are kind of they're more like a bush, or kind of a side, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, a lot of banana facts I can pull out because I researched and learned a lot about bananas this morning.
So we got a question. Danny asked, do we need, so I think everyone's ready to go because we're getting some questions about how to mix the two together and everything.
Yeah, so now that everyone's ready, we're gonna actually just grab our butter and just put it into the banana. So if you're not at this step, no worries. All we're doing is putting bananas and butter together. So just mix that up. And once you're done the mashing of the bananas, if you're still at that step, that's no worries. You can also just make sure that your butter is liquidy. So that's all you need to do so far. Let's get my weird things out the way here. While you're waiting too, if you want to start grease the pan, you can do that. And the way you do that is just to grab a little napkin and just put a little bit of butter on it and just grease the pan. You can also use like a spray pan like this. So that's just while you're waiting. If we'll do that step again to remind you, but if you're just waiting for everyone to catch up, do that, and that'll be ready for us. Okay.
So someone commented that Yusuf said their banana has some chunks in it. So chunks are totally fine as long as most of it is quite mashed up.
Yeah, mash up as much as you can because then it will turn out like blended.
If there are any really big chunks, then you can always go back in with the fork into the big mixing bowl and just kind of smush it.
Yeah, I'll show you. I don't have any chunks, I don't think, but basically you're gonna grab the bowl and kind of go to the side and just mash like to the side like this. I'll show you on this side. So just go like this, just to push out the big chunks. I guess there's a few chunks, but most of it, because I blended it before, it's not too bad for me. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Yusuf asked, can I use oil spray instead? So yep, if you have a spray oil or cooking spray, you can definitely use that.
Yeah, and that's one I've used in the past too, which worked really well as well. So we have either butter or a spray to put onto our pan. You can also use like a canola oil if you want. That will work the same if you just put it on a little, I put it onto a tea towel, like a paper towel, and then just put it on just a little bit, and then you just spread it around on the pan. Okay.
All right.
So is everyone caught up, do you think?
I believe so. Yep, ready to go.
Okay, perfect. So we have butter and bananas in here now. The next step is we're gonna grab our baking soda. So right here. What I'm gonna do, because I'm a little messy, is I'm gonna do it over top of the bowl, just so I can make sure I don't put too much. And I need my teaspoon. So just a teaspoon of baking soda. And just plop it in here. And to measure out things, just remember that you have to have it even. So you see that this one is kind of leveled out. If you look from the side, I can't do it from the side, but it should be like a leveled out. Oops. And then you just place it into the mixture that you have already. Okay. And the next step is salt. So I'm gonna just put it in my hand. So if you have a big container like this, best thing to do to grab a pinch of salt is just to put it in your hand first. Doesn't matter what kind of salt it is. This is kosher and that just means that it's like more coarse, which means it's a little thicker than regular salt, but that's fine. You can also, just grab any salt. But you're just gonna grab a pinch. So that means that you're using all 3 fingers to grab a bunch of salt, and you're gonna put it into the banana bread.
Katie, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do we put salt in baked goods as well?
Yeah, so they had that question last time. So basically it makes your things taste better. I think you had a better definition from before, but it basically triggers your your taste buds to taste things a little bit better. So we have salt and baking soda now in there. And we also need to add our sugar next. So have that ready. I know some of you might be still measuring out, but I'm just gonna grab my brown sugar so it's ready. And I don't think I have enough for just in this bag, so I'm just gonna grab some scissors so I can cut my other one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I have that ready, scissors. So we need well, it depends how sweet you want this, to how much you need for your brown sugar. We're using, for ours is 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And like I said, I'm using brown sugar just because we have it already. But you can use white sugar. I'm sure there's other alternatives you can use as well. But I'm gonna grab just a cup that is leveled out like this. And then we're just gonna place it inside. And like I said, 3/4, but if you wanna make it less sweet, you can also just do it a half a cup. If you want to make it more sweet, you can add 1 cup. But yeah, it's up to you. It's kind of one of those preferences things. So up to a cup, because I feel like more than a cup might be a little too sugary. And I'm quite a sweet tooth. I love sugars and stuff, but I find that 3/4 is enough for me. So I'm just going to cut my brown sugar bag here, and we have lots more here for us to grab. So this is my 2/4, so that's half now of brown sugar, half a cup. And then we need 1 more to make it 3/4. 3/4, pop it in here. Weird, we heard the fridge for a bit and now the fridge is not making a noise, so it feels really quiet in here.
You want me to sing in the background?
Yeah, can you please sing to me the banana song?
Ring, 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 ring.
Banana phone. I'm not sure if anyone knows that song, but it's pretty funny. Never gets old. So we put our brown sugar in here and we're just mixing it up so it's nice and even. You might see some chunks of banana like I do. That's fine as long as it's kind of a liquidy texture. That works. Yeah, so that's the sugar. The next step is an egg. So I'm gonna grab 1 egg, just the one, and we're gonna place it into a bowl just because I might make a mistake and add some shells. And yeah, if you're not used to cracking an egg, it's really good to have it, rather than putting in the batter and trying to find the shells, just put it in a bowl and then you can grab them. So you're just gonna make a little crack on the side like this of the egg if you've never cracked an egg. Then use your 2 thumbs to like open it up a little bit. This takes some practice, so don't worry if you did this and a bunch of shells fell in. You can use, actually, what's a really good way to collect shells is the shell itself of the egg, and you can like scoop them up. So that would work if you got some eggshells in there. We all learn, and the more you do this, the more you get better. So that's fine if you have any eggshells in there. Got a bunch of egg on my hands, so I'm just gonna rinse them here and grab a fork now because we're gonna whisk that up. Fork in here. Okay. So grab a fork, or if you have a whisk, that's fine too. But you're just gonna make it so it's all combined. So the yellow, the yolk, and the egg whites are all combined together. So I'm just it's kind of like you're adding air to it. So you're just going up and down like this, but in a faster motion, like a circle motion. So once you have whisked that for a while, you should be able to see that the yolk and the whites are all mixed together.
So I'm putting up another coal. So some people might take a little bit of time to mix their egg and everything. So if you need some more time, please let us know.
Okay. And if you are ready for if you've done the egg, then you can just add it to the mixture. But still take your time if you need some time to whisk. And I'm just gonna add all that. And I think I'm done with my bowl, so I'm just gonna place it in. Good to go. Next step is our vanilla. So we'll just mix up our egg into our batter here.
So we'll just maybe wait another minute.
Sure.
But do you have any other banana facts?
All right. So I saw an experiment this morning of this guy who tried like that ethylene gas that I told you about that the bananas ripen faster in. So basically, if you're from if the grocery store was transporting green bananas to the grocery store, usually green bananas don't sell as well, so they want them to be yellow, right? So they add, the best way to do it is they're adding apples or some kind of like thing that lets off that gas to ripen them more. And this guy, he tried he did an experiment. So he kept the bananas by itself with nothing in it. Second one, they added the apples. And the third experiment they did add ethylene gas, like specifically. So they added like the gas into a chamber thing. And then the last one, they added gas like from your car, like gasoline. Apparently that also gives off some kind of ethylene gas. So the experiment had the 4 bits to it. And what happened was the apples and the ethylene gas were the ones that ripened the most. So he said, yeah, that's kind of like a way that that grocery stores do it as well. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That was just 1 teaspoon of vanilla, right, Katie?
Yeah, and I haven't done that vanilla yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so someone's
okay.
We have a question. Can you show the inside of the bowl just to show what yours
Yes,
looks like?
It looks quite brown.
That's because of the brown
Because of the
sugar.
yeah, the brown sugar and probably my really brown bananas as well. But it should be kind of like the texture, it looks kind of like that's not mixed up, like it looks speckly right now, but once you add the flour it will be all consistent. But yeah, kind of sugar and that kind of thing doesn't really combine very well unless it's warm, so that's why it kind of looks like that. It's got every little bit of mixture in it right now. Okay, so yeah, if you want to do the vanilla, that's what I was going to use my bowl for, but I'm just going to have this little thing in front of me so I don't put all of vanilla in, because sometimes we slip and make mistakes and we don't want to put all the vanilla in, because even though it smells good, it doesn't taste good when it's all vanilla.
I tasted it once and I like spat it everywhere.
Ew.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Like cocoa powder. Cocoa powder smells so good, but it's so bitter.
Yeah, you have to have it combined with sugar or something to make it a little bit better. So yeah, that's the vanilla. I'm just gonna put my lid on so I don't spill it everywhere. So now we're just gonna combine that vanilla. So we have our butter, our bananas, we have our sugar, we have baking soda, we have salt, and we have vanilla extract. That's
1 egg.
And 1 egg, sorry, I'm mixing well. There's so many ingredients.
Oh
yeah,
there's just the 1 more left, actually.
Yep, 1 more left, and that's just the flour. That's the last one. So I have a little bit of stuff on my spatula here, so I'm just gonna let that combine as well, so it's not too weird there. Okay, so last but not least is our flour. So I have my big bag of flour. I'm just gonna bring it up so you can see how I do that. And we need, how much is it for flour? We have 1.5 cups. So I'll start with the flour. So we're going to put the cup in here, and I'm going to have a little side knife that's dry like this, and I'm just going to level it off. So I put the flour in and then I'll level it off inside here, just so I make sure that I have enough and I don't get too much. So grab about 1 cup here. And then, like I said, I'm going to use my little knife to make sure that it's completely flat. And as you can see, there's no tower of flour here. So we're gonna make sure that it's completely flat. Right, so the next step is we're just gonna place it inside. If you don't have a big of a bowl, sorry, words, as me, I have a really big one, but the best thing to do is kind of combine the flour a little bit at a time because sometimes it gets quite messy. So I'm just gonna do the cup first, and then I'm gonna add the last half a cup after this is mixed a little bit. And then we're using this kind of spatula because it gets the stuff off the sides and helps to combine it a little bit better. Okay, so just mix it up. And take your time on this if you need. We're good on time, so we still have lots of time to be able to get everything ready. So just mix it up. And just make sure you don't see any flour on the sides, or once you mix it at the bottom, you can also just scrape the bottom to make sure the flour is all combined as well. So you have a question at all?
Well, what if somebody wanted to taste the batter?
Oh, good question. So eggs have a thing called salmonella, which you may know already, but
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes, yeah. Only sometimes, and same with chicken. So we don't want to risk getting salmonella poisoning because it's not fun. We don't want to experience that. So probably best to just wait until it's completely cooked. It does look really delicious, and I know that it's really tempting to do that kind of thing, but unfortunately we better to wait. I need to grab a half cup, which I realize is wet right now.
I will wash that.
No worries. Yeah, I'm gonna get Maddie to wash my half a cup. Should be in here somewhere. Here we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There's lots of random wet dishes behind me. I'm sure that maybe you don't have a personal dishwasher person either, so I guess you need the time to also wash all your things. So I'm doing, like I said, a cup and a half of flour. So if you are washing your cup, just make sure it's completely dry because flour gets all weird if it gets wet.
Here you go, Your Highness.
Thank you, ma'am. My little servant. Just kidding. She's great.
Today I'm your servant.
Yeah. All right. So again, we're gonna do not a mountain of flour, just a scraped part of the flour. That's perfect. And then I'm just gonna place it inside and then mix it up again. It looks better and better as we go. There we go. Do we have any questions at all, Maddie?
No, we don't. Just a comment that it looks so yummy.
Oh, yeah.
I have to agree.
Yeah, it looks even better when it's cooked.
And yeah, so we did actually just get a question from Fiona asking about chocolate chips, or if anyone has the optional add-in ingredients. So we will go over that now.
Yeah, so like I said, I went to the chocolate chip store. Just kidding, co-op, and I grabbed all the different kinds of chocolate chips. But for you, you don't have to have all of these, and also you can use walnuts instead if you don't want chocolate chips. I just really like chocolate, so I'm gonna add all of them, but I'm gonna add about a cup of all of them combined. So I'm gonna start with the milk chocolate, and obviously you probably didn't go overboard like I did. I was just really excited about all the different types of chocolate chips that are in the store because there's so many. It gets even better when it's Halloween. They're like orange and stuff too. So these are salted caramel chocolate chips, which I think would be really delicious. So I'm just gonna add that to my cup as well. And let's just finish it off with some dark chocolate chips. Woo! Just to switch it up. Beautiful. All right. So here's my chocolate chip creation. And if you don't have chocolate chips, that's okay. This was an optional thing, and the banana bread will taste good without. I really like chocolate. And I'm not sure if you've been to my sessions before, I've said that a lot. So yeah, you know, Katie and chocolate, they do well together. So we're gonna just combine, if you have them, our optional ingredients, and just make sure they're completely mixed up so they're not all in different places of the banana bread. And that is what it looks like. Ta-da! Yeah. So that is all for our ingredients. So if you missed that spot and you were at the other step, we're gonna grease the pan. So I use butter and some paper towel to mix that, or to kind of spread it on to the pan. And I'll show you. You just basically put it on your finger with some paper towel, and then I grab my butter and you just kind of scoop a little bit off, and then you just spread it around like that. If you don't have butter, or you have butter for your ingredients, so you should, but if not, you can also use canola oil, or you can use a spray, which is a lot easier. You just spray it on. Oops. And we'll just not add our Pam to our banana bread because that's not a good ingredient.
So we got a comment from Toshiki, and I know this actually. That's so funny. So there is a cooking website, a cooking blog called Chocolate Covered Katie.
What?
Do you secretly run it? I know that blog actually.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's my soulmate. Maybe it is me. Maybe it's me in another life, another world, and this is just me, chocolate Katie. I'm totally gonna check that out though. All right, so if you are greased on your pan, and yeah, have everything ready here, you can also start putting your banana bread into the pan.
And everyone's oven should be preheated by this point. So if yours is really slow, then just wait to put it in when it is preheated to 350 degrees.
Yeah, and mine beeped already, so I know for sure that it's at the right temperature.
So Adriana and Andrea added shredded carrots, and that sounds so delicious.
That sounds delicious, yeah.
Shredded zucchini would work as well. So yeah, carrot banana loaf, zucchini banana loaf. I might try
I was thinking about adding some kind of vegetable to it when we were chatting at the middle between our sessions. Yeah, that'd be really good to add some kind of vegetable. We can hide it, and then it will be even more delicious.
My friend's garden produced the largest zucchini ever.
Whoa,
just had to show that.
That's very big. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I also, if you want, this is like for decoration, but I didn't do this for the last one, but you can also just put some chocolate chips on top. That looks really good as well. So I'm just gonna put some chocolate chips on top just so it looks like nice and pretty. Aesthetically, it will look better. Yeah, I'm gonna put them on top. All right, so if you have heard your oven beep or whatever, it's at the right temperature, you can place it inside the oven in a moment. I'm just gonna do some safety 101 here. We will need our oven mitts, so make sure that we use those, and I'll show you how to open the oven too. So I'm just gonna place this so it's easy to reach. So I'm gonna place it at the side of my oven here, and then I'm also gonna use my oven mitts to open just all the way, because if we had it a quarter of the way, it could shut on us, and we don't want that to happen. So just make sure you're not tripping over anything, and we're just gonna grab our pan and place it on the middle of our oven. So you can see here. Ooh. And we'll just start to close it there. So now we're gonna set our timer. So I put mine in for about an hour. And the reason, the best thing to do is kind of check it about 50 minutes. So Maddie's gonna put it in the chat how long it needs to be. So 50 minutes is where you check, and I'll show you how to check that. And after that time, if you need a little bit more, like 10 minutes, then that's what mine needed. Your pan might be different, your oven might be different. So it's best to actually just check it. And the way you do that, and I'll show you with my previously made banana bread. Just gonna bring it over to here so you can see it. And if you have a chopstick or a knife or something kind of along the lines of this so you can poke the banana bread.
Just to interrupt, just to clarify, that's 50, not 15. So
yeah.
50 to 60 minutes.
Yeah,
but good
15 and 50 sound the same, you're right. So good. All right, so my banana bread still is a little bit warm, so it's good to make sure when it comes out, you check. So I'm gonna use my knife just because some of you might not have a special ingredient, but it did come out a little bit, but only because of the chocolate chips. So if you hit a chocolate chip, it's gonna be black or brown or whatever it is coming out. But if it looks goopy, if it has like a weird like goopy texture, then you're probably best to put it in for a little bit longer. You also will see that it's kind of a darker color on top as well. So that's best to check. That's the way to check to make sure that it's all good to go. And yeah, this is what it should look like when you take it out, unless you have walnuts or carrots and zucchini, all those things. So they might look a little bit different, but that's kind of the gist of it. Yeah, I think that's kind of it for now. What time is it right now?
One more question, Katie.
Yeah.
How do you know, when can you start to cut it after it comes out of the oven?
Yeah, so mine is cool. So I don't recommend touching this for at least about 30 minutes or so. I let mine sit out for an hour before I touch this, but I still feel that it's a little bit warm at the bottom. But because it's still like this whole pan on the sides is cool, I can actually probably take it out and it will cool on the cutting board, and then that will make it a little bit faster for you. But best to make sure it's cool all the way, and then you can start cutting it.
And then you won't burn yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
okay, is that all?
Hello, here I am again. So that pretty much concludes our session. It's I know it's not 2 o'clock yet, but all of you were super fast. So we'll stick around if you have any more questions, if you need us to repeat something, or if you need to troubleshoot something, if something doesn't seem right, then we can answer the questions. Mm-hmm. But if when your banana bread comes out in an hour, if you want to take a photo and send it to us, we would love to see it. Mm-hmm. So I will go put our email address in the chat, and you can send it to us. We may even post it on our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but thank you, Chef Katie.
Yeah.
It smells so good in here.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, so we'll record it and we'll put it on YouTube, and then on the survey we'll put the link. And then give us feedback. We always want to know how we did in our surveys. So like give us some comments if it's good or bad. We feel like we've gotten better from your comments. So feel free to just keep doing that. We have a last week left, 1 week next week, that we have quite a few things going on. So one of them, the paleontologist is coming to talk to us. We have someone from Rofney's Observatory who's going to talk to us as well. And you get to ask so many questions to them. So I'm really excited about their sessions. And then we're also doing a Germs 101 session as well. That one will teach you about germs. I know you maybe know some things about them, but I want to get you ready for school because looks like you might be coming back to school in the fall. So if you are, I just want to get you prepared and for you to learn a little bit more about germs while making cool jelly soap. So it's really, really fun to play with the soap and actually have fun while washing your hands. So yeah, that's the plan. And yeah, we're good to go. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm going to go answer a couple of questions that people have, but it was really great to work with you all today. Yeah. So enjoy.
Hopefully we see you next week. And I'm going to turn off my video, but we'll still be here if you need. Okay.